Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Take Two Radio. This is Pam, your host, and tonight I have with me my lovely co-host, Dawn. How are you doing, Dawn?
I'm great. I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Good. Let me see if we have our guest on the line. Area code 609. Who's calling, please?
That's me.
Okay. One moment, please. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Looks like we'll have to wait a few minutes for our guest, but I think everybody's pretty excited to who they know who's coming on. What do you think?
Most definitely. I know we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see you jumping up and down.
Yeah, I'm just slightly excited. What do you think?
We want to welcome everybody that's in our chat room and everybody that's listening tonight. We hope you enjoy the show. And if you're going to call in, I suggest you do it right now because once we start interviewing, we won't be taking any new callers on. The phone number is 1-718-506-1540 and press the number 1 so that way we know to pick up your phone. Okay, so it looks like we have Phyllis on 609, so we'll go ahead. Phyllis will pick up your call once we get Eric online and start doing some of the interview, and then we'll pick up calls.
Okay, I'm just checking here. I was checking something, sorry. Oh, man, you know, the world of multitasking in social media is just is unsurpassed. So I don't know about you guys, but I am so glad that today is Friday. It has been one more week for me in particular because this week I had the pleasure, I don't know if it was a pleasure, but I had the experience, I think that's a better way of putting it, of serving on jury duty. And for anyone who has ever done that, you know what I'm talking about. I always dreaded it. I was never a juror until this week. And it was very, very interesting, to say the least. I won't talk about the case just because it's really not good subject matter to share here. But needless to say, it was a 3-day event, and it was kind of neat being out of work for a few days. But it was flip side was kind of not so neat going back today and being severely behind. So if any of you have ever done that, you know my pain that I've endured this week. So anyway, it's
I've gotten called to go, but I haven't ever served yet.
Well, you know, it is one of those things where, you know, fortunately now I've served my time, per se, and I won't have to do it again for another 2 years, which I'm really, really ecstatic about. It was a very draining 3 days. So, like I said, I'm especially glad today's Friday, and then I go back to work Monday. I work 2 days and I'm off for the holiday next week, so I'm very, very excited about that. Which, by the way, do you have any big plans for Thanksgiving, Pam?
No. We're just going to, I usually cook at home. These past couple of years, with the economy the way it is, a lot of people don't throw big functions anymore. So I will probably make the turkey and, you know, some side dishes and stuff like that and have my family, my immediate family.
Yeah, that's about the same for me. We don't go over the top where I'm at either. It's actually kind of nice because, you know, Christmas is so go here, go there. It's so hustle-bustly. There's so much going on. It's over before you know it. And so Thanksgiving is just really kind of a nice time to just relax and kick back and not have to worry about anything. You know, you can just kind of breathe a little bit. Do you ever get brave and do Black Friday shopping?
Oh, no, absolutely not. The only thing that I do is I shop online. That's it.
Yeah, that is me. For the last several years, I've kind of taken an affinity to doing that over going out in the crowds. And I never really have been the diehard go out and fight the crowds on Black Friday. But a few years back, my children and I, we started a tradition. They really wanted to. They kept hearing all the hype, and they said, "Mom, can we please go?" And so I thought, okay. we'll see how this goes. And I took them out. We didn't buy a thing. I just took them out so they could see the mania and the craziness and how people carry on. And they were just, their eyes were just open. They were like, why do people do this? I said, I really don't know. So now it's kind of like a fun, it's kind of a more of a joke, fun, we go out and just do it, and we stay out maybe a half hour to an hour, grab some coffee, and then we go home, we go to bed, and everybody else is out fighting each other. So it's, it turns out to be a pretty good Thanksgiving for us.
Yeah, my husband will usually venture out, but that's just not for me. There's too many people. It's just too crazy, and you get some really good deals online. You can get the free shipping, and a lot of the times the Black Friday online, well, it's actually usually on Monday for online sales, can be even better than when you go out somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. And this year, I just saw today, as a matter of fact, a lot of the retailers are offering the same deals online on Black Friday that they're going to offer in the store. In years past, it's always been in-store only to get the consumer to come out. And I think now the tides are turning because so many people are going to the online. They're going to online to purchase their stuff. And a good friend of mine even told me that last year she was able to get some of the same deals online that they were offering in the stores, although the stores weren't promoting it as such. And she said it was so nice because, she said she shopped in her pajamas
Friday
morning, and you just can't beat that, really. So, it's a whole lot easier. The stuff comes to your door. You don't have to deal with, all the brouhaha of the mania of the traffic and everything else. So, it's pretty, I like it for the traditional aspect in taking my kids out and giving us that time together to kind of laugh at people and watch people too. But at the same time, it's I like Thanksgiving because it's just such a relaxing holiday, and I plan to relax next week. I don't know about you.
Everybody just eats too much and then veges out in front of the TV, and I know a lot of people watch their sports at that time. I happen to like watching all of the Christmas movies that they have every year, and just my regular shows, catch up on DVR or whatever else you got to do.
That's true. And it just occurred to me as we were chatting that this time next week we will be most people will be Black Friday'd out because most of the shopping, all the hardcore shopping will be behind us, and we'll be going into our weekend. It's just blowing my mind how fast time has evolved from Halloween. It seems like it was just yesterday. And here we are just shy of less than a week till Thanksgiving. And that can only mean one thing. Christmas is coming. I've got to get my shopping finished. I'm just, mortified. But anyway.
I know. It helps,
here.
too, when the kids get bigger in a way because they usually only want one thing, but it's the most expensive thing.
And I've learned that the older your children get, the more expensive it becomes at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm believer in that. It just seems like it's like I tell my kids. I said I think y'all push the envelope every year a little bit farther over that edge. To see just how far you can push it. And but they're never dissatisfied. They always have pretty decent Christmas. I don't think they can complain. So, I didn't get what they got when I was growing up and their age. So I tell them that.
Oh gosh, no.
Reminded them of that. But
Now, do you open your gifts on Christmas Eve or do you wait till Christmas morning?
It's funny you would ask that question because when I was growing up, the rule was we got to open one gift on Christmas Eve, and it was usually from my maternal grandmother. She lived in the same town I lived in, but there was just something about her coming to our house and spending the night on Christmas Eve. So she would always bring two gifts, one for Christmas Eve, one for Christmas morning. And that was the only gift we got to open was the one from her. And then when I got married, my former husband and I had this debate the first Christmas. He was like, we need to open gifts Christmas Eve, and that was just unheard of for me. And I was like, no, we can't do that. What are we going to open Christmas Day?
Right.
That was my premise. And of course, from that point forward, that was what we would do. And then, of course, the kids came along, and then it made sense to open the gifts on Christmas Eve, and then because to get up Christmas morning, they're doing all the Santa stuff, so it's it was like gifts at that point are an afterthought. So my kids today, they start reminding me about 2 days before Christmas Eve. Are we doing gifts on Christmas Eve this year again, Mom? What do you think? What have you done your whole life? So that's the tradition in our household. What about you guys?
Christmas Day.
Oh, okay.
Christmas Day, we open ours from the family and from Santa, and if we happen to go anywhere by another family member, we'll open their gifts on Christmas Eve. But it's every morning, Christmas morning, we open up our gifts, whether I'm awake or not. Sitting there with my coffee, one eye open, Then with I was going to say, with the kids getting older, at least they sleep longer.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, when I was a kid, and you were probably going to laugh when you hear this, but when I was a kid, I was a big, big believer in Santa Claus. And I remember when my grandmother, when the year she would spend the night with us on Christmas Eve, and she would let us open that gift. I remember there was a year that I don't even remember now if I had asked for it from Santa, but it was obviously something very important to me. And I remember opening that gift from my grandmother, and I do remember what she gave me. It was one of those huge, gigantic coloring books, just huge, about as big as me. I think I was probably 10 at the time, maybe a little younger. And I remember taking that coloring book and putting it under my bed because I was so terrified that Santa would see it and not leave my gift. I mean, how crazy is that? Now, when I was growing up too, they used to do this thing here in my area. The local news station would do this mock Santa's coming, alert radar thing with the meteorologists and all that. Did they ever do that where you live?
Oh yeah, I mean you can go online now, and also they have this one site, and I can't think of the name of it right now, but you can. NORAD Santa. It's NORAD. NORAD Santa Tracker. No, I was going to say another one where you can actually send an animated card to a child, and you put their name in, and if they're male or female, and what they want for Christmas, and Santa talks to them and says, "Oh, I got to look at my list and see if you've been naughty or nice, and see if maybe we can give you." What you're looking for. Let's say it's a car, and it's really cute. It's really cute. I used to give that to my kids all the time every year, and now I have to do it for my G kids.
Yeah, well, G kids, that's cool. Never heard it called that. Well, when I get more than one grandchild, then I'll start referring to them as the G kids. That is the coolest lingo in the world. I love you.
Well, I don't like to be called Grandma, so I'm called Nana, and they are my G son, my G daughter, or my G kids.
Oh gosh, well, the funny thing for me, going back to the Christmas tale, I remember being at my paternal grandparents' house one year on Christmas Eve. My dad comes from a big family, so all of my aunts who lived out of town were in for the holiday, and, his brothers all lived locally, so everybody, the entire family was at my grandparents'. And they had, of course, the Santa Tracker going on the local news station, and I saw that come on, and I remember just being on pins and needles, telling Mom and Dad, look, we've got to go. I was probably 7 or 8. Oh, Santa's coming. He's going to miss us. We got to go home. We got to go now. I remember my dad getting so frustrated with me, and now, of course, I understand why. But at the time, I was mortified that Santa was going to fly over and forget me. So it was, and those are the two most vivid memories of that whole thing. When I was small about the whole Santa thing. But I still believe. I still believe. I tell my children to this day, if you don't believe, you don't receive. So,
right.
They play along, but,